This section we will discuss it in the next Zoom meeting in details, but let me read it for you. Ray, the author of the reports are us, has some controversial view about futures for humans. He feels that advances in biochemistry, neurology, and computer science will allow us to redesign our bodies and our minds in a way that will make us more intelligent and perhaps immortal. Croswell is generally optimistic about these developments. Others may see such developments as a serious threat to our value. So, what value is there in being able to redesign ourselves, and what values may be threatened by such change? Okay, we will discuss it inshallah in next Zoom meeting. Now let's move to the vocabulary activities. Here the target words in its forms: nouns, verb, adjectives, and adverbs, conjunctions. For example, code, encoded, decoded, coded for the adjective, encode and decode for verb, and noun code. Now let's fill in the blank with a target word from the chart above that completes the sentence in a grammatical and meaningful way. Be sure to use the correct form. Okay, now in many early science fiction stories, scientists create a report and then the report proceeds to kill its creator. But science fiction writers Isaac Asimov disagreed with this idea. His notion was that a report could be sympathetic and noble. In 1940, Asimov and the science fiction writer and editor John Campbell convinced that the three laws of robotics: a robot may not injure a human being, or through injection allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given it by a human being except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or the second law. Three of the nine stories that Asimov iRobot anthology mention this law. So the number 3 will be comprise, and many of the robots in his later novel and story follow this code of behavior. The laws are not contained in any formal written document, yes, that a thinking robot could refer to and quote. Instead, the laws are encoded mathematically into the robot's programming and operates much like the natural instinct and the direct a human being to protect their own children. Okay, for Asimov, this analogs to safety features and strict operating procedures that are part of all tools and machines. But will this built-in ethical code work if machines can think for themselves? If robots develop the capacity for conscious thought, will they choose to ignore the three laws? Okay. Now let's move to the question number B of the vocabulary activity. The word in bold have more than one meaning. Depending on the context, Read these sentences and circle the meaning that best fits the context. The library's capacity is inadequate for the number of books in the collection. So the capacity means here power to do something or amount of physical space. Easy one, it's amount of physical space because inadequate. Okay. The 3 laws of robotics are a code of conduct devised by science fiction writer Asimov. So the word code here is a secret system of letters or a number or a set of principles. Yes, it is a set of principles. This notion was first expressed in a short story by Asimov. So the word notion, an idea or opinion, an impulse or desire. Yes, it's an idea or opinion. He had a sudden notion to call on old friend of his. Number 4, it's an idea or opinion or an impulse or desire. So this one, the word notion here have the opposite meaning of this question number 3. So it's an impulse or a desire. Okay. The scientists recorded his theories in a code that we are just now beginning to understand. So is it a set of principles or a secret system of letters or numbers? So the best answer is a secret system of letters and numbers. Number 6, although I don't agree with him, I am impressed by his intellectual capacity. So here we mean by capacity power to do something or amount of physical space. So we are talking about a power to do something. Okay. Now let's move to the next. The easy one also. The chart above shows some of more a predictable collection or word patterns for selected target vocabulary. Using this chart, complete this sentence with the likely words. Be sure to use the correct form. So the first one, many universities have a strict, so it's easy, code of behavior regarding plagiarism and the use of other people's intellectual property. According to Ray Kurzweil, the next 10 to 20 years, the intellectual and creative gap of computers will greatly exceed of the human being. So creative capacity, we're talking about physical space. Google has initiated an ambitious gap to digitize millions of books contained in the universities or in university libraries. So an ambitious project. And algorithms are simple decision making gap that can solve complex problem. Simple decision making notion. Okay. Question number 5. So we are here in C. Question number 5. Ray Kurzweil prediction that a human will soon become a part machine strikes many as peculiar notion. Also this one is notion. Trying to understand how humans think and move is difficult because the gap of this mental operation proceeds at the subconscious level. So it is difficult because the bulk of this mental operation. So far, most robot designs bear little resemblance to humans, but perhaps we will see a gap in emphasis toward more anthropomorphic robots as the preceding capacity of computers greatly increase. So we will see a shift. Okay. So writing and discussing topic. In next lecture, you'll have to do the homework and to discuss the advantage and disadvantage of one of these futuristic proposals. So by group, you'll have the homework to discuss within 250 words this implementing an electronic device and a people that uniquely identify each human being, or you can choose one of these topics using swarm bots, blood hunt to chase and locate criminals, or implementing cell phone speakers and microphones inside our heads to make phone use easier, or using computer cell phone implants and reports to educate our children, or you can choose the making all cars into self-driven robots, or injecting bodies with swarm bots that diagnoses disease and alert us to their presence. So in 250 words, you will submit an essay and short essay about the advantage of this and disadvantages of these topics. Okay, see you next lecture and best of luck.